I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it take a swim, only option is to win. In the murky water, not a thought of giving in. I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it take a swim, only option is to win. In the murky water, not a thought of giving in. Welcome to the shrimp tank. Want to put it all together, this is big things. Doing big things, chasing big dreams. Yeah, it's all real, this life's all that it seems. All the chicks scream, all the dudes yell. This is just what I do and I do it well. With the flow fresher than the new shoe smell. Going through hell, well homie keep going. You know the saying, you gon' reap what you sow in. So I don't chase girls, I just chase dreams. Play the same game, but we ain't in the same league. Running a campaign, Robbie 2016. Like a phone to die, put me in charge. I'm a general, from the front I'ma lead the charge. Like a federal, fell on my lap never. Going hard as ever.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Shrimp Tank, powered by Celsius Beverage. This is your first time tuning in. We now go live on all our accounts at Shrimp Tank Boca, as well as the FU Adams Center Facebook page. Every week, we bring to you the best and brightest entrepreneurs from South Florida. Always find the do's and don'ts running a business. And of course, I'm joined by my co-hosts, week in and week out, Dr. Kevin Cox. He's the director over at the FU Adams Center for Entrepreneurship. This show is ran in collaboration with them, and we're always finding the do's and don'ts with them and bringing them right to the classroom. We can't wait for the fall. We're going to have a brand new studio with all these different students sitting in. So, Kevin, what's happening on campus right now? It's quite empty in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow. You know, not all our students stay here for the summer and take classes and battle the heat, but we've still got stuff going on. I'm teaching a couple of MBA courses that keep me here late in the evenings on Tuesday, but those are always fun to teach a little bit more experienced, older students with great experience, expertise, and a lot of them have great careers, but they are leveling up their education with an MBA, which is nice. And then
let's bring them over to Tech Tuesdays. We got a nice happy hour at Tap 42 at South Florida Tech Hub next Tuesday.
Yeah,
I think they'll get some real networking guidance, bringing them to an event like that and bring them into the real world. Young kids don't network anymore. I think it's a good opportunity for them.
Yeah,
a lot of people in the Tech Hub community.
There's a great group, and we're always got a lot of stuff going on. I am on my way down to South Beach for the Florida International Medical Expo, which kicks off today. That runs June 19th through 21st. It's all sorts of new medical technology startups as well as established companies. It's going to be a massive trade show. And then, of course, myself, I'm doing a little bit of volunteering, some judging. I am a finalist round judge for the competition that is held in conjunction with the Florida International Medical Expo. So I don't actually know that much about medtech and biotech, but I can analyze the business models. So hopefully I'll be of use. I will try to do my best while I'm down there near the beach.
Which is hard. It's so beautiful down there, and you got to be indoors all the time. And you got to pay attention to those pitches because they get very technical. I know often it's not as simple as, the products sometimes we see here on the Shrimp Tank come in and it's really obvious to understand, but that type of stuff gets really into the detail, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm interested to see who makes it to the finals and then, to pass judgment upon them.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into our guests today. We have Lora Hazelwood in the Shrimp Tank studio. She is the area director of the state of Florida for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. She was referred to us by one of our well-known PR experts, Cindy Metzler. So, Lora, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And to start things out, I guess, tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Yeah, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation it's a little over 65 years old. So it was founded when not long after the disease was discovered. People, of course, had it, but there wasn't a name to it until sometime around the 1940s, 1950s. And so cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease. And since that time, there's been remarkable progress. I can talk a little bit about that. But the foundation really has three main components, and that is funding research, medical research, some of the best labs in the country. We have one lab in Boston. that we own, but all the rest that we fund is independent research labs. The idea is to cure this disease. Along the way, though, we've got to help make sure that people with CF have good treatments. And so we do fund cystic fibrosis care centers. They're all over the country, well over 100. We don't own those. They're with big hospitals and medical institutions. We have 3 here in South Florida that are remarkable at University of Miami, Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and Nicholas Children's. So that's really what we do. And we advocate for people with CF. So that's kind of the 3 prongs: the research, the care, and advocacy.
Perfect timing with Kevin going to this
Yeah,
convention
yeah.
Yeah,
next few days, right?
right.
So it's been a long time, and it's been a really great foundation that has had a lot of impact. I
Yeah.
did a little bit of research before the show, a rarity for the show, but a lot of money gone into research. So tell us a little bit about that side of things. Where does the research stand? I think listeners, many people are always curious about some of these organizations
Mhm.
that have been around so long, and it's like, we still haven't cured most cancers.
Right.
We still see the pink and breast cancer awareness. And it's like, but what is, what's kind of happening beyond the marketing? What many people don't know is that, like, certain types of cancers, we do have highly effective treatments. And
Absolutely.
there's more in the pipeline coming down, but just not so much has been, magic bullet kind of,
Mhm.
okay, don't need the foundations. It's all cured. We figured out this, pharmaceutical, you take this pill, you're good. Yeah, unfortunately, it hasn't been that simple, but we've seen a lot of progress in other spaces. So what about in cystic fibrosis specifically?
Yeah, yeah. It's really it's a complicated disease, and but this is one disease where I can confidently say that I think we're going to see a cure in our lifetime, because it's genetic. Some of these other diseases are autoimmune, or they're disease states, within the body, and those have more complicated leanings. This one became an easier puzzle for us when the CF gene was discovered. So the CF gene was discovered, one of the first genes to be discovered for a disease. And when that happened, that helped to unlock the science. And so for a couple of decades now, it really supercharged our ability to fund science that wasn't just benchmark science, laboratory science. It really allowed us to start to develop treatments that could benefit people with cystic fibrosis. And so these are called modulators. And these modulators, 2 drugs came out a couple of decades ago, and they were fairly exciting. They were pretty game-changing medications for people with CF. But we really hit that magic bullet in 2019. 2019, this drug called Trikafta came out. And there was such a celebration around this news. This is a triple combination therapy for people with CF. Unfortunately, not everybody with CF responds to this medication because they may have a certain genetic mutation that does not respond to Trikafta. But for a large majority of people, if they can tolerate this drug, it has increased life expectancy. We're talking we just announced this week that if you were born in the last 5 years and you have the most common form of cystic fibrosis, you will have you will potentially have a life expectancy of up to 61 years of age. This was a fatal disease prior to these medications. The life expectancy was 20s, 30s, only inching up by these other medications and by better better care. Now we're just lightning speed ahead. We still got work to do because these modulators need to be fine-tuned. There's side effects. There's people who can't take them, so we can't just rely on Trikafta. But it's one of these diseases where we can actually say these billions of dollars that have gone into this research is giving people a better quality of life and giving them longer life.
Yeah, that is really, really exciting. And I imagine there's some other exciting technologies that might also have implications, given the nature of the disease is genetic. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not foolish enough to think that I mean, maybe I am, right? Like we have the CRISPR technology,
Sure.
right?
Absolutely.
There could be a scenario when we just can go in and clip out those genes, right? From the
Absolutely.
sequence.
Absolutely. And gene editing is an area that we are funding. And we feel that our work there can potentially benefit other diseases. And one of the early diseases to benefit from gene editing is still in its very infancy stage, but there's an eye disease that is already benefiting from that technology. So I think that's the direction we're heading, Kevin, and I think it's just an exciting time, not just for cystic fibrosis, but for other genetic diseases, to try to unlock these final barriers, to treating and curing.
Well, hopefully we continue making progress, and some silly politicians don't outlaw it because it's too advanced science, so we don't want it. And
Yeah. Yeah, well, we have to always balance that, right, in the medical community. But we're full speed ahead with our pioneering work, and it's just like I said, it's an exciting time to talk about CF. I can tell you that. So it's a good day for people. It's that disease was that news, that diagnosis was really a terrible thing to hear, and now parents can be reassured that there's a brighter future.
Yeah, I mean, 61 years old is not that far from U.S. citizens' general life expectancy.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just remarkable. When I was in college, my experience with CF as I was in college, when my best friend's niece was diagnosed, right? So that was a time when there were not newborn screens, so that she was diagnosed around age 4. The family was told her life expectancy would be probably 20s, maybe 30s. So people with CF at that time, they didn't plan to go to college. They didn't plan for a future. They didn't talk retirement accounts. They didn't talk marriage and babies. That was not a reality for them. That was not a reality for. And this young woman now is well in her 30s. She does have significant lung damage from years of having the disease. But the good news is that the technology is keeping her going, and it's just been remarkable to see.
Can you share how people could get more involved? Right, there's
Yeah.
so many foundations in South Florida,
Sure.
and often people want to get involved, but they do not know where to start. Right, they see
Right.
some events on Eventbrite, and they want to go out and they want to support a lot of foundations, but kind of share with us some of the things that you do for your organization.
Yeah, we do a lot of your really traditional events, and we also do some cutting edge things. Our traditional events are walkathons. A fishing tournament. We have this remarkable fishing tournament on the west coast of Florida in Boca Grande every year. That's in October. There are galas. There's dinner dances. We have this really fun songwriters event that's in Jupiter, and we bring in Nashville singer-songwriters. Very popular event, really fun night.
Someone who works with our team over at Owl actually was part of that.
Oh my gosh!
Danielle Santilli.
Oh yeah.
She joined us during an episode with Ron Saunders.
Of course,
And then there was an open spot, and fortunately she took it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
Well,
cool.
it's we love her. It's and Ron's terrific too. He's our chair of our local board of directors, and he has a cousin with cystic fibrosis. But yeah, it's we have just fun events, and one that we're doing new is we're actually going to be engaged with Run Disney. So we have an ability for people to participate in a marathon. Run Disney's a very popular marathon, but not just for your own personal, satisfaction and fitness, but for a charity. So we have that opportunity that we're opening up. We're also going to be launching a Miami marathon opportunity for you can run under the CF umbrella. That's going to be in February. Our first time participating with that event, and that's going to be a pre-qualifier for the Boston Marathon.
Wow,
Yeah.
February. I wonder if that's enough time for Jason. He was just thinking about running a marathon.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was, right, Kevin? I was just texting you about that.
Yeah.
Kevin wants to see me get some abs. He wants me to get to the next level.
Well, there's other levels. You don't have to do the full 26. You can do other runs. So you can look into other runs that you can do for the marathons. And then
I'll put us down for.
Are you
more
gonna?
like
Yeah,
Are
you
you
put us down?
5K.
Are you
Okay.
gonna run with me,
5K?
Kevin? Are we doing this together?
5K.
yeah, we'd love to have you guys out. And then we're when I say cutting edge fundraising, I mean that's interesting because people are changing and what they like to do and how they'd like to support events. And so we have to be really savvy with our our internet technology and give people various ways to give to us that may not mean coming to a traditional event, because some people are a little more passive in their charitable support. So we know that. So
so much has moved online where a lot of
Well,
people
that's
don't
it.
want to go to events.
That's
They're
it.
just like they want to participate in maybe it's something on Zoom, for example.
Absolutely.
And then, to get into the Zoom, it's $50, or
Right.
at the end of the Zoom, it's a donation.
Right.
Or
Right.
there are certain, things that are being raffled off during the Zoom. But I agree.
Sure.
So often people don't want to get off the couch these
Right.
days.
Right.
There's
Right.
two different audiences.
You do. You have
Um,
two different audiences. It's interesting to see that evolve too, from when I started in fundraising, and it's really though it's just another opportunity. It's just there's really no limit to what people can do to support local charities, and our charity is has a local chapter, but it's a national organization in that we have chapters throughout the U.S.
And on the shrimp thing, we'd love to learn a lot about the person sitting in the seat.
Okay.
Right. So we
Yeah.
want to go back to your history. Tell
Sure.
us why you got involved with this organization,
Yeah.
how long you've been part of the organization, and just kind of what it really means to you.
Yeah, well, just quickly, I've been with the CF Foundation since 2018, and like I said, I had that early experience with CF. Being in college, and you just don't even think of anything but the next day. You don't think ahead that much at that point. You are a little bit, of course, but you're just living life, and you feel so invincible. And so, seeing that family get that really serious diagnosis, probably stayed with me, and I really was always. Involved with charity. I think my brother set that standard for us in our family. He was always very charitable, and so I started with juvenile diabetes actually, and there's some similarities, not in the diseases, but in the models of the organizations. And I was there for a number of years, and they've made some great progress as well. And through that organization, I did meet a lot of people with cystic fibrosis, and mainly because about 10% of people with CF will go on to develop type 1 diabetes because their pancreas are being damaged. And so there is some similarity between the two, and the people that support it. And I feel like that in both cases, Kevin or Jason, I feel like the jobs found me. The juvenile diabetes job was a woman who was on a board, and she met me, and I was not in fundraising at the time, but I was in healthcare marketing, and she said, "You should try this job. We have this new chapter. You should come to juvenile diabetes." And I said, "I don't really know that much about fundraising." And she said, "Oh, you've got the skills. You've got the background, or not even the background. You just have the skills. You'll learn it." And she was kind of right. And then I feel like the cystic fibrosis kind of happened that very organic way where someone approached me about working for the cause.
What's the hardest thing just working with a nonprofit
Oh, wow.
in your experience?
I think the hardest thing is that you just don't ever have enough resources. We are so lucky to have volunteers that just do amazing work for us, whether they're on boards, running committees, running events, people impacted by CF, people not impacted by CF. Or the diseases. That's just so helpful. But we're always pretty short staffed, and we should be. Our money should go to our mission. And so it's really the biggest challenge, I think, is just you want to accomplish so much, but you have a finite amount of time to do it. So I think it's really just balancing that and trying to make a difference.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be back in the next segment shortly after.
Join the fastest growing community of professionals on the internet with OWL. Access new networks and otherwise unreachable professional contacts through the one-on-one call feature on the app. Scroll through the list of available professionals and join them for a quick call to build rich connections, expand invaluable relationships, and to broaden your professional landscape without needing lofty referrals. OWL. We bring vetted pros to your doorstep 24/7 on demand. Join our community by signing up at owl.com today.
And that's really changed too.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Shrimp Tank. As a reminder, we put this up on our website the week after at shrimptankpodcast.com. You can read all about our guests. Their bios are listed up there. And of course, reach out to them on LinkedIn, Instagram. We tag them all on our social posts. And Laura will be our featured expert on the Owl app. We are one of the few podcasts that enables all our audience to go in, first come, first serve basis, go ahead and follow them on the Owl app and call them when they make themselves available. So it's pretty unique. Our guests get back some of their time to connect with our audience. So Laura, on this segment of the show, it's called What's Hot. I'm
Okay.
going to ask you a question.
All right.
And just dive into the question in more detail, of course. So I always let Kevin over here do the honors of this segment.
Oh, and I'd be more than glad
Always like
to,
him to
Laura,
start this show.
because I need your help here.
Oh.
So I gotta tap into your expertise.
Okay.
As most of the viewers, listeners know, the FAU Adams Center for Entrepreneurship is a nonprofit, and it is one that is consistently short on resources. And the guy who runs it's not great, hasn't been great, but needs to do some fundraising, right? So you know what we do? We help students, we help faculty, we help people from the community, people like Jason. We help founders create businesses. We also have a veterans program, and we provide kind of best-in-class education. What is hot in fundraising? What can we do?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, the trends seem to be, if you're talking for a young group of people, I think, you said something earlier, Jason, that really stuck with me, and that is, getting them together. And I think if you could start maybe a Tomorrow's Leaders program, where young people are engaging, maybe recent grads, maybe it's, recent grads, or maybe it's alumni that can get together and give back to your cause. So maybe you could, kind of springboard something with people who are making a difference in their community that used to be connected to the university. Because you find that when you have that connection, whether it's you have a connection to a disease or to a university because you graduated from that, or something similar, you're going to get a lot more, I think, engagement and probably more buy-in. So maybe something of that nature could help you guys out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Collaborations I'm always about.
Yeah.
Right. You have this nice university, Kevin. I would say getting a foundation like hers together, bring them out to the university, and partnerships.
Great idea.
Both resources. You have the brand, you have the leverage here with FAU, and you combine two amazing brands.
Sure.
More donations coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think your Tomorrow's Leaders and those kind of groups can launch their own, different fundraising initiatives as well. So those collaborations within the campus and outside of the campus could be really, really maybe popular for you guys.
Yeah. We try to do a fair amount of kind of that, and we do all right in breaking even with events. But in our space, it's a little bit different. You typically need like those really, really passionate, really, really wealthy. That's like, here, I'll just endow this thing, and it'll, you get X amount for the budget. Ongoing.
Sure.
That's kind of the ideal scenario, but those people are kind of few and far between.
Of course.
And there are a lot of the same ones, especially in the South Florida community. If you drive down, Military or Congress, a lot of the medical facilities and universities have a few consistent names, So
of course.
Always looking for
that big fish.
The next generation of those who want to, support entrepreneurs, which is a doable kind of thing.
It is.
Sometimes those people have an entrepreneurial profile.
Absolutely. So. Well, that's it. And they usually fund foundations, right? They start and fund their own foundations as a way to give back. They sometimes find themselves with resources at a younger age than maybe our prior generations, and they want to establish maybe different tax advantages to that, but also they want to make a difference. And so I think you're in the, you're thinking of the right thing. Private and family foundations are certainly a well of resources for charities. There's no question. And we have a legacy program that we set up as well, where people can set up plans in their estate planning, or gifts of stock, or gifts of assets when they pass away, and they can kind of make those pre-commits. So that's another way that we.
All right, I've got one more for you, just because I'm curious. You guys do such a diverse array of events.
Yeah.
All sorts of different kind. Well, in this segment, we talk about what's hot in the next, however long, 24 months, 3 years. What is the hottest event you have planned, or maybe you haven't even planned it yet, but you're going to do it?
Yeah, probably the thing that we're really leaning into is this fitness craze. I mentioned the marathons earlier. We call them we call them well, endurance events. Really is really. So under that umbrella, you have marathons, you have hikes. We have these really fun hikes in like North Carolina and in Colorado. We have Jason's liking this endurance
Oh
idea,
yeah,
right?
Laughing because he's setting me up. I
he's
can
a
see it.
big
mile away.
endurance guy.
Endurance is the thing. Fitness is the thing. People want to be healthier, and at the same time, they're giving back. And so we are launching these hikes, these marathons, these all kinds of different endurance ideas. We're actually going to be doing engaging with other marathon programs, not just in the U.S. but internationally. So we'll be having people going to run for cystic fibrosis, even in France or in Greece or in Israel. So it's interesting that how fitness is really and is marrying with charity, and we're just seeing that really take off within our endurance programs.
Wow, you hear that, man? You could run all the way around the world.
You could. Or cycle. You could cycle. That's under our endurance umbrella. I don't know if you cycle, but that's something
I'll
else we
stick to the
offer.
pickleball. I see pickleball exploding, and I see that
Pickleball.
the tournaments, are connected to foundations. So I'll stick in that
Absolutely.
lane, Kevin.
A lot of injuries.
I've never been a
man.
runner.
A lot of
Never been a runner.
injuries. I don't know.
I have that endurance. I go about a mile and I'm done. I've always been an athlete though, but never into the whole just run and
Well,
just go.
pickleball is another way. You could definitely run a tournament and make I think a lot of fundraising dollars. It's right now it's the hottest sport in America, right? So
But also for networking events.
yes.
I think people leave that off. I'm in the financial service industry. I started seeing them inviting all financial advisors to the local indoor tennis court, Diadem,
But-
and say, "Hey, come and get a free training." And they put a great trainer on a flyer.
Smart.
And they're inviting you, and everyone knows like that's usually $100, to get that type of lesson.
Of course.
Go out with other like-minded, professionals,
Yes.
and you're having fun.
I love that.
It's a great new way to market and get small groups together. Not always- 'cause
Absolutely.
sometimes the big ones are great, but every month some of the smaller ones are really nice where you can get to know each person at the event.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's we talked networking a little bit earlier. Networking in small groups or large is really key to building your business, no matter what business you're in.
Kevin, you're not going to like the answer to this, but I was sitting back waiting for it. But you have the answer. It's TikTok. You have to have an account, my friend. All these students around campus would love to be on film with you. You have your own TikTok account to get the message, because the more you get the message out, the more opportunities, of course. If you ask 5 people, you only got 5 chances. You ask thousands, because everyone's on TikTok today. With the support of all these TikTokers around campus, you could be the first professor on this campus to really go hard, utilizing that platform.
Yeah.
You win?
Maybe.
buy-in?
There's a new AI company that had reached out to me, and they can make a representative likeness of you and run it on TikTok. So,
Amazing.
and it's completely automated, and they're interested in making an old Professor Cox and
Yeah.
launching him out there. And I've got plenty of data, obviously. I can be like, yeah, go ahead. Here's a bunch of recordings, bunch of papers, bunch of stuff, and have at it.
That's fascinating.
It will be almost like me. It will be me, kind of.
Nice. So, Laura, what's hot when it comes to marketing your own events? So something I see often is people want to put these events on, and they only work if people attend.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And
Right.
the biggest challenge is getting them to the event.
Mm-hmm.
Right. People have become lazier than ever.
Yep.
COVID hit.
Yep.
And then a lot of people never went back to traditional
Yep.
networking and events.
Sure.
They'd rather just sit on the couch, look at social media.
Sure.
Right. So what is, the hottest way to market these events to get people to attend?
Yeah, I think this is going to sound just so traditional, but if you have a core group of dedicated people to an event, so a committee, if you will, and you ask that committee to reach out to their networks, then you're building something, right? Then it's word of mouth, and people want to be a part of something because their friend's a part of it, or your colleague is a part of it, or their business partner. I think that's been a key to our success, is not just relying on that passive ask, but really asking a group of people to help us. And so I have them help us to promote it through their social media channels. And we have them, ask their friends and family and colleagues to join us. And that seems to be really effective.
Yeah, we were just working on that yesterday. The runway is big event every single year, and ideally fundraiser, but usually we luckily if we break even, it's expensive, but it's fun. The Maverick reception, we're just planning that for November this year. The save the dates for November 13th until the basketball schedule comes out, because we don't want to have a conflict. But we've got a lot of people involved on that committee and a ton of supporters. So we hope everybody will join us for the Maverick reception this fall. It should be a big one. This is the 10-year anniversary. So we'll celebrate, and we'll give out some awards, and we'll get those people to invite their friends. And, it'll be a massive event.
That sounds great, and honoring someone and celebrating a milestone like that, honoring people that are significant to your cause, recognizing those year milestones. Those can be great ways to engage and to market as well and get people more involved.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break here from one of our sponsors. When we get back, we're going to jump to our Plead the Fifth segment of the show.
Step into our state-of-the-art innovation lab and create your digital future. Oz uses cutting-edge technology and 22 years of industry knowledge to enhance customer experience through digital innovation in a variety of expertise. Oz is a leading global consulting company whose services and solutions are trusted by startup, mid-size, and even Fortune 500 companies. Get to know more about Oz's Salus, a mobile solution bringing us back to max capacity, and their latest solution, Rainmaker, saving insurance companies years of work. To learn more about Oz and their exciting technologies, visit followoz.com. That's FOLLOWOZ.com.
Everybody, welcome back to the Shrimp Tank. So, Laura, on this segment of the show, it is called Plead the Fifth.
Okay.
We're going to ask you a question, and you don't have to answer it. You can just say, I plead the fifth. But you can only plead the fifth one time.
Oh, wow.
That's the rules.
Okay.
The segment of the show.
All right.
Okay. So often we were just talking about marketing,
Mm-hmm.
right? People, dive into influencer marketing. I feel like every brand has tried it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have been burned, right? They go down that road. They find that some influencers, great to work with. Some tell you everything you want to hear in the beginning. And then all of a sudden they don't show up. They cancel on you. They don't fulfill their duties. So tell us a story, and I'm assuming you partnered with an influencer that was on that bad side. You walked away with that bad taste in your mouth.
Well, I'm going to be honest here. We're probably very careful at the foundation about going down that road, and it started, in the celebrity culture. Where before there were influencers, there were celebrities, and they were the influencers, right? And they still are.
Sure.
And we have, we learned the and we work with, and we still work with celebrities that donate their time to to make appearances at events and things, and that's fabulous. But yeah, there's probably been an example or two in the past where because it's an unpaid role when you rely on a celebrity, and we don't really have a budget for the influencers, so that may keep us in a different lane. But we certainly have had some instances where someone a public figure that's aligned with you maybe gets in a little bit of trouble, and then that's not always a good thing.
Of course not. I mean, I was just at Justin Timberlake this week, and
Right.
he just got arrested yesterday for driving while under the influence in the
Right.
Hamptons, and
Right.
immediately, he's all over the media.
He's all over the
We
media.
see this all the time. Like 1 second, you're like, "This is amazing! Look at this celebrity I partner with," and the next day, it's Puff Daddy right all over the news, and his house is, you get him getting, raided by the FBI and CIA. You kind of understand where I'm going.
Oh.
It could happen overnight. And You don't know
Absolutely.
everything. You
And
think
you
you do your
don't.
due diligence. But,
Mhm. Absolutely. People
these-
make mistakes, and that's that, and there's a lot of forgiveness for, some of those mistakes, but it's a tricky lane.
So is there one celebrity that sticks out though that maybe no showed you? I've worked with influencers and I'm so excited when you do not pay them, they sometimes don't take it as serious.
Yeah.
And then they feel like it's easier to back out. Like they didn't
Yeah.
didn't have that much skin in the game. So is there ever a situation that you could tell us that a celebrity and tell us
Oh.
who they are
Oh gosh, I
and how
don't
they just no
know.
showed you?
Yeah, celebrity that no showed us. I'm okay. I'm going to use my fifth on that one because I just want to be very careful about outing anybody for,
All right, Kevin, she's all
yeah.
yours. She played the fifth.
Now for the hard questions.
No.
So the younger generation of
Yeah.
students, they really kind of care about things that they're passionate about, right? Not necessarily just work or making money. They all have kind of something that they're typically passionate about, and sometimes a great path for them might be going into the kind of nonprofit world.
Sure.
However, I find that many of them hesitate to do that. For one reason, which I wanted to ask you about, how is the pay and compensation in the nonprofit sector
Yeah.
compared to your previous experience in medical marketing?
Yeah, wow. It's changed, and for the better, I will say, because let's be honest, nonprofit is an industry, and I think along the way they started to adapt more business savvy practices. Charities became more businesses, and as they adopted the model, they needed to attract talent, and I think there was a realization that there has to be, some fairer compensation. It's not. I think the old school thinking was, well, it was a calling, and the compensation was secondary to the calling. And now I think that we've seen an increase in that compensation. A lot of organizations will look at the marketplace and they'll compare positions for a nonprofit with other positions in the market and try to be somewhat competitive. We're not going to be able to ever fully compete with the for-profit sector. So what I think nonprofits then do is throw a lot of bennies at you. So, the benefits for nonprofits are usually very good. Healthcare, time off, flex time, remote work opportunities.
You can probably go to most all those fun, amazing events if you want as
Yeah,
well and
right.
participate, travel.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, I think that's one thing within nonprofit. Once you get that experience under your belt, you can move around to the different nonprofits. We'd like to keep folks for a few years because there's a lot of investment in training them, but people are more mobile now. And you can even move within an organization. So there's positions, you go to the cff.org website and you'll see all kinds of positions posted, and then not just in fundraising. If you're in IT or you're in marketing or you're in HR, we have a home office in Bethesda, Maryland. There's opportunities there. So I think I've seen compensation improve, and I think definitely the benefits have always. The joke in my family is always, oh, it's Groundhog's Day. Laura's got the day off, so, which we don't get Groundhog's Day off, by the way, but we do get a lot of, because we work hard. We work a lot of nights and weekends, and so we get a lot of flex time, and we get a lot of those nice holidays off.
Yeah, I figured that's what you'd say, which is kind of why I ask. It's worthwhile for students to consider as
It
they
is.
approach graduation. If there's something they're really passionate about, it doesn't mean they necessarily need to be a volunteer. Though we love it when they volunteer for things as well, especially while they are students. But there are career opportunities all across the sector.
There absolutely are, and yeah, I would encourage someone just to do their homework on that and explore it. And I think it's nonprofits too. We like to retain our talent, so we really try. We know people are mobile, but we really try to create professional paths to interest people to stay with us as long as possible.
Well, what would you say personally is your biggest goal in the future?
Oh, my personal biggest goal in the future. That's a good question. Not related to my profession then.
Both, let's
Both?
say. Let's
Okay,
get
'cause
both
they're
answers
pretty
because
int they're
this
pretty
show is all about
intertwined.
yourself,
They're pretty
right?
intertwined. Yeah, I think, what I'd like to do is, um, I'd like to kind of move out of event-based fundraising eventually and really focus more on individual fundraising, major gifts, legacy giving, plan giving. It's just something that's a passion. It's something that It's relationship building, and I think Jason, in your business, you certainly understand that. I love that thought of doing that. In my as I round the corner of my career, face a big birthday this year, and look forward to how many more years I'll be in the workforce. That's probably how I would like to use my time.
Great answer. Well, Laura, thanks for joining us here on the Shrimp Tank today. For everybody listening, what is the best route to get in touch with you and your
Yeah.
organization? Check out all these events, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can just go to the website, cff.org. From there, you can select your chapter. We're the Southeast Florida chapter, but we have 3 chapters in Florida. We have chapters all over the U.S. So whether you're here or you have family or friends in another market, or you're moving around, cff.org will take you to where you need to go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you are following us online, we're streaming now at Shrimp Tank Boca, and you catch us next Wednesday right around 1 o'clock. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it take a swim on me.